What is going on, my friend? Welcome back to the Podcast Domination Show, the only show that I know of. Maybe I'm biased, but hey, the only show that helps you grow and monetize your show while having fun, the Podcast Domination Show. I'm Diaz, your host, and we are going over LDMS, which is the 4-step framework we use to move clients from idea to launch to distribution to monetization to scaling. And today we're covering part 2, which is distribution. And when I see distribution, this is one of my favorite parts because I think it's a lot of people are lacking creativity when it comes to this part of the business or just this part of getting your show out there. And I'm going to share with you guys some things that I think could help you. I share some things that I haven't even really shared a lot with my own teaming, my own clients. It's just a lot of stuff I've been working on in my head and putting it to paper, and it's going to be a big part of what we're going to do here with the show and how we grow. So distribution, let's step back a second. Look, what the hell does Lewis mean? What does this short guy mean when he talks about distribution? What I mean is basically when your show is published, your podcast is published, whatever that is, maybe it's with yourself, maybe it's with a group of people, maybe it's with a huge influencer or someone in your space you really respect. What happens to get that show into the people's hands that need to hear it? So who needs to hear it? Why? And what is going to get it there, right? What's going to make them connect? So for me, distribution is it's like endless on the internet. So I want to share with you guys some things about distribution. Essentially what we're talking about here is where does the show go and how does it get there, right? A lot of people think just sharing it on Facebook, Instagram, email is good. That is a good baseline. However, there are 3 tiers that I'm going to share with you today that essentially make up your distribution channels. So we'll start with a 3-tier distribution system, and that fancy word for me saying like I have gone through and separated all the different types of distribution you can do. And there may be a few missing, but I think we've covered a great majority of them. So 3-tier distribution helps you get your podcast to places that it needs to go to get to the people it needs to reach, right? So tier number 1 on the bottom rung here is essentially all of the podcast directories that you already are submitted to. So iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Stitcher, Spotify, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Pandora, anywhere, Podetize, and not Podetize, whatever it's called, Listen Notes, all these different things. There's tons of different ones, and that's the level 1. You have to, at the very baseline, that's why it's at the bottom, it's the base, you need to have all those shows or all those destinations dialed in so that your listener can find you on pretty much any podcasting platform there is out there. So that is a huge one. If you don't have that, then you don't get a chance to really move up the ranks here and go to 2 and 3. So that is extremely important of I guess something to cover, right? So make sure you have all of those done. I'm not going to name them all off here. I'm just going to give you an idea of what they are. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Castbox, Overcast. You want to make sure you're on. If you can't get on Spreaker, get on Spreaker. I know it's a bit tough because it's a closed network or closed kind of platform. You can also try and get on to Pandora through Libsyn right now. There's tons more, like I was saying before. I have a list of all of them. If you are in the Facebook group, the Podcasters Inner Circle, you can just tag me in a comment and say, hey, can I get the distribution list for getting my podcast everywhere? And I will get it to you. So if you're not in the group, get in the group and ask me, and I'll give you this. It's basically a copy and paste template. You can stay up to date. You can have everything you need at your fingertips. It's a great way of organizing your show and making sure you're everywhere and you know the status of everything as well. Because sometimes stuff gets updated and it messes up your feed. So that's number 1. Tier number 1 is making sure you're on all the directories. Tier number 2 is making sure you're on all of your own media platforms. So owned media platform stands for your Facebook group, your Facebook stories, your Instagram TV, your email, your YouTube channel. Those are all your accounts. So you can post as many times as you want as long as you don't get banned or kicked off. So that is your level 2. Tier 2 is owned media platforms. How are you getting your podcast out to as many people as you can across your existing audience, which are warm audiences essentially, right? And then number 3 is other people's platforms. So media outlets, think of like Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, think of Fast Company, all of these media companies that could, if they put your podcast on their site, it would blow up. It would get tons of traffic. But that is the top of the ring. It is the highest ROI one. And it also falls into the realm of guesting. So being a guest on other shows, you're actually promoting, in a sense, to other audiences who are cold. So that's why this is tier number 3. Yeah, tier 3. Anything from magazines, it could be offline too, it could be newspaper, anywhere where you're being featured on somebody else's platform is a tier 3. And that helps a lot because it helps you get exposed to new audiences that aren't already in your circle. So distribution, when you look at it like that, you have to make sure you have all 3 of those levels taken care of. And it's going to take time to really get 2 and 3. Level number 1, you should be able to get relatively easy, or whoever's working your podcast should be able to get taken care of that relatively easy. No biggie at all. So that is essentially the distribution system. Another thing I'm going to talk about here today is something I didn't want to share with you because I didn't want anyone to steal it. But if you steal it, just give me credit, okay? And I'll be cool with you stealing it. And that is distribution hubs. So what a distribution hub is, it's basically when you make a series of podcasts to a very specific segment of your market. Let's say I wanted to talk to CMOs at Fortune 500 companies about why they should start a podcast. I would create a podcast series. This is called a 5-part series on the 5 rainmaker benefits of making a podcast for large brands and corporations. And I would go through and I would detail out exactly why they should make podcasts every single one of those 5-part series, right? I show them how, I show them what, I show them the benefits, I show them who to contact, what to do, what not to do, blah, blah, blah. And that would be my hub. That would be a piece of content that would act as a hub, and I place it on my on my LinkedIn, and that way all the Fortune 500 CMOs who are coming through my podcast page or my company page would have some content for them to consume that would be very, very specific to their niche. You see, a lot of people only think of posting content or podcasts kind of sporadically. If you have some strategy to it and you know how to tailor the content to your segment of your market, it can be a really effective tool. You can put it on a playlist. You can even sell it. You can give it to a prospect as a gift, and it could be a great high value content piece. So the distribution hubs is another way we teach here at the Podcast Domination Show and Podcast Domination, our agency, to really help clients get out what they put into podcasting, which if you're going to do it to get customers or do it to help grow your business, you're going to want to really niche down and talk to a specific type of person with a specific type of problem. So those series are distribution hubs. You place those on a playlist and you put that on LinkedIn, you put it in your profile. You can do this for Instagram, you can do this for Facebook, whatever the case may be. You can do this as an email series or an email course, but it's tailored content that acts as a hub to really grab and a piece for people to grab that are having that certain problem or they're in that demographic, right? So that's number 2 here in distribution. And I think really that's it. There are a couple other things such as the back catalog recycling system and also distribution partners, which we won't get into today. However, I think the 2 big pieces that we covered today are super huge. And if you're looking to get your show out there and distribute it further and faster, give yourself an audit on those 3-tier system, and then also audit your ability of if you're leveraging distribution hubs. So making small series of content and then placing it on your website in certain places or placing it on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, where these people hang out. That is the second part. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was helpful. I'll catch you later. Distribution, part 2 of the LDMS system. Peace out. Hey, and don't forget, I have a number of free bonuses for you. These are free templates, guides, and stuff that I've actually included in my recent book, How to Get Your First 100,000 Downloads in 100 Days. But you don't even have to buy the book. I'm just going to give this to you for free. All you have to do is go to LuisRyan, LuisRyan.com/book. There is a simple form where you fill out your name and your email, and you get a ton of free stuff, all the templates and guides that I included in the book, but you don't have to buy the book. So you're saving yourself a chunk of money that literally will take you probably less than 2 minutes to accomplish or perform. So enjoy that. That's my gift to you. Use it. Don't just let it fall by the wayside. And I'll see you on the next episode.